A doctor saved a boy who was shot in the head 9 years ago. He never expected to meet him again 9 years later, only to find out he'd become a ruthless killer. He'd murdered 4 couples in a row. For the first time, the doctor wondered if saving someone was a mistake. To make up for what he'd done, Dr. Tenma went straight to the police and told them everything about the boy, Johan. Not only had he killed those 4 couples, but 9 years ago, he'd also murdered his own biological parents and 3 executives at the hospital where Tenma worked. But Inspector Runge, who was in charge of the case, didn't believe Tenma. After all, Johan had no apparent motive to kill those 3 hospital executives. The one who benefited most was clearly Tenma himself. Runge was more inclined to believe Tenma was framing Johan for some of the crimes. So instead of going after Johan, Runge told Tenma to leave and continued investigating him instead. Tenma knew exactly what Runge was thinking, but he didn't have time to worry about that. He knew he was the one who saved Johan, and that's why so many innocent people had died. To atone for it, the only thing he could do was catch that monster himself. So without hesitation, Tenma set out to find Johan. He was no longer the elite doctor he used to be, unshaven, wandering the streets aimlessly. Then it hit him. A key clue. Johan wasn't alone. He was the older twin. He had a younger sister back then. Maybe if he found her, he'd find Johan. With that thought, Tenma went straight to the home of the foster parents Johan had killed. They were already dead, so he had to go door to door, asking the neighbors. After endless effort, he finally found a blind old man living alone. The old man was a Navy veteran who'd been through World War II. He remembered Johan well. The boy was smart, quick to learn anything, but what stuck with him most was that Johan seemed to carry an innate evil. Back then, Johan came every day to listen to his stories, and of all the stories, the one he loved most was about war. The old man had an unforgettable memory from his time on a submarine. The sub was hit and went out of control. The intense water pressure could have crushed it like a tin can at any moment. Every man on board lived in constant fear. After 38 hours, they finally escaped. Johan loved that story. He enjoyed hearing about the fear of others. The old man couldn't see, but he could feel that when Johan listened to that story, a terrifying smile spread across his face. That's when Tenma realized, maybe the old man survived because he was blind. He never knew Johan's real name, never saw his face, and the old man could tell Johan didn't trust anyone. But there were 2 exceptions he'd mentioned. One was Dr. Tenma himself. The other was his twin sister. Hearing that, Tenma's eyes went wide. With that lead, Tenma rushed to Heidelberg to investigate. But finding one person in a huge city was like looking for a needle in a haystack. After racking his brain, he figured out the fastest way. Back then, the twins must have come to Heidelberg after escaping the hospital. They were likely adopted by a couple. Johan left his sister behind, which was why he made that promise to come for her when she turned 20. And if a young Johan suddenly disappeared, the foster parents probably filed a missing person report. The media might have covered it too. If he could track down those reports, he'd find the sister or her foster parents. So Tenma went to the head of the local newspaper, Mana, and asked to see newspapers from 9 years